Hello, I'm Justin Sutton, and welcome to highlights of the 2015 Formula Sim Racing World Championship. Round 9 this season is in Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Home to the Tifosi and the Temple of Speed, the Monza circuit is the fastest and one of the oldest circuits to be featured this season. Taking pole position, it was Kuba Brzezinski for Origin Front Row Racing, who was over a tenth quicker than Johnny Simone's Go Speed Racing car. The lead Twister car was Mohamed Patel, who lined up on the second row alongside Jim Paresis for the Twister sister team. Dejan Kostadinov lined up in 5th position with Blair Disley to his right. On the 4th row was Jernej Simoncic, who topped the timesheets in Q1, but with mistakes in Q2 could only manage P7. In P8, it was Daniel Kiss ahead of Brilliak in P9 after a corner cut in Q2 invalidated his time. Rounding out the top 10, and also with the corner cut penalty, it was Thomas Satherley for Go Speed Engineering. Just outside the top 10 on row 6 came Bagazi and Martin, while Brzezinski's teammate Daniel Brewer could only manage P13 alongside Norbert Leitner. D'Alessandro lined up in 15th with a couple of ACR cars behind him, Kvela leading Greco. Marco Conti qualified in 18th, Ivanov in 19th, while Van der Neet and Gobi rounded off the field of 21 drivers. At the start, pole sitter Kuba Brzezinski had a good launch, but quickly was swarmed by Johnny Simone on his right and Mohamed Patel on his left. Brzezinski kept his cool though and outbraked his rivals into turn 1, allowing him to hold on to the lead he had earned in qualifying. Just behind, Jim Paresis made contact with the back of Simone, which gave him minor damage, but dropped him down the order and out of his 4th place starting position. Simone was able to continue on in a wheel-to-wheel battle with Patel that he eventually won, holding the inside line for the second chicane. Meanwhile, Peter Brilliak was making a move on Blair Disley for 7th position after starting from 9th, going around the outside of Disley at the chicane. End of lap 1, and Brzezinski was looking strong while Brilliak had a second row seat for an incident between Kostadinov and Simoncic, which gave both Kiss and Brilliak a free position as Simoncic spun at the first chicane on the second lap. Almost 8 laps later, and Kiss was able to move out of the way for his sister teammate Brilliak, who was of course fighting for the championship. With the DRS wide open, he grabbed an easy position off Kiss. A couple of laps later, and it looked like the leader was going to be heading into the pits for his first stop before he suddenly swerved back to the left, continuing on for another lap. Lap 13, and 3rd place Patel was clearly pushing the limits and beyond at the pit entrance as he locked both front tires and did well to keep control of the car before stopping in his box for another set of the super softs. Not far behind him, his teammate was also into the pits for a stop from 5th position. Patel came out of the pits in an unfortunate 12th position and with several cars to clear in front of him, but with the fresher rubber and a good run out of the first chicane, he was able to grab the inside line on Disley heading into the second chicane and quickly moved up a spot. Patel had more cars still to clear, however, who had not stopped yet. Both ACR cars got out of the way in differing methods, but Patel would need to clear DeVitt the old-fashioned way. Both cars got DRS, but Patel had the slipstream and the later braking zone thanks to his fresher super soft tires, so he made the overtake relatively painless into turn 1. Replays of the ACR cars revealed that D'Alessandro overcooked the pit entry and wound up in the barrier, losing his front left wheel in the process, while Greco dipped a wheel in the grass at Parabolica, which put him into a spin, but thankfully without any major damage he was able to continue and headed straight into the pits. At the end of lap 13, Brzezinski dove into the pit lane for a new set of the super soft tires, while the Go Speed car of Johnny Simone opted for the soft prime tires from 2nd position, giving Brzezinski a great opportunity to pull out a gap. 1 lap later, and Kostadinov missed his braking at Ascari and was very lucky not to make contact with Disley. He shot across the gravel and, eager not to lose time, quickly rejoined the circuit again, nearly making contact with Disley. Kostadinov fought back at Disley not long after, going around the outside of Disley at turn 1 and regaining the 6th place position he'd lost. Brilliak clearly smelled blood in the water after witnessing Kostadinov making quick work of Disley, and with a solid exit out of the second chicane, he grabbed the inside line for the first Lesmo. Daniel Kiss also got involved, grabbing the inside line for the second Lesmo, and in the space of a few corners, Disley dropped to P9, and with Bagazi not far behind. Bagazi got his shot at Disley later that same lap with a great run out of the Parabolica and the inside line for turn 1. a move that would have put Disley into P10 if not for the fact Satherley and Ivanov were in the pit lane. Not too far behind the battling midfield, there were adventures for Carlos Martin at the Parabolica as Van der Neet and Simoncic made contact and went into a spin. Daniel Brewer was able to scythe his way through the wreckage, but Martin wasn't so lucky as he made contact with his teammate's rear end, removing Van der Neet's rear wing in the process, ending his race. Martin was able to continue racing, but was forced into the pits for a new front wing. Lap 18, in second place, Johnny Simone went a bit too wide at the exit of the first Lesmo, dipped a wheel in the gravel, and went for a bit of a spin as Patel moved into second place and got some clean air to push with. After his spin, Simone came under attack from Kostadinov for the final podium position. Simone defended the inside line into turn 1 with his prime tires, keeping the Bulgarian behind for the moment. Simone seemed to pull away at corner exit, but Kostadinov was gaining lots of time under braking and in what few corners Monza has to offer. By lap 20, Simone was leading a train of 5 cars with Breliak in the middle and Kiss and Bagazi waiting in the wings. Despite a snap of oversteer at the exit of the first chicane, Simone managed to hold on to his third place position again, heading into the second chicane. By lap 22, Breliak was clearly becoming impatient, waiting for Kostadinov to make a move on Simone and tried to grab the inside line for Ascari. Unfortunately for him, Kostadinov was getting DRS and a slipstream off of Simone, so Breliak would need to work hard for this overtake. The pressure from the Ascari entrance may have had an effect on Kostadinov as he went wide at Parabolica later that lap, but despite the error, had the straight line speed and DRS needed to keep Breliak behind once again. The start of lap 24, and again Simone is having to defend the inside line for turn 1, but sadly for him, Kostadinov was able to hang it around the outside and exit the first chicane side by side with the Go Speed driver. Meanwhile, Breliak was able to take the racing line and with a great exit, moved past Simone and began pressuring Kostadinov once again. Not wanting the podium to slip from his grasp, Kostadinov defended the inside line for the second chicane, but when he overshot the corner, Breliak was able to execute a flawless switchback maneuver and headed into the first Lesmo in P3. At the back of this pack, Bagazi made a move on Kiss heading into the second Lesmo, but the two drivers made contact at the exit, leaving Kiss worse for wear. At the end of 24, Patel came into the pits and fitted a fresh pair of soft boots, but unfortunately exited directly into the dirty air of Daniel Brewer, who was still running his second stint on worn super softs. Patel harassed Brewer through Ascari and tried to set up an overtake heading into the Parabolica, but wasn't able to complete the move until turn 1, where he was forced to go around the outside as Brewer defended the position. At the end of lap 27, the race leader was into the pits for his one and only stint on the prime tire, exiting the pits in clear air not far ahead of Johnny Simone. Simone was essentially a pit stop behind Brzezinski and dove into the pits later that lap for a set of the options. He was a bit naughty at the entrance though and got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which he served at the end of lap 30, rejoining the race in 11th ahead of Ivanov. A few laps later, Simone was on the attack and Brewer was his target. He outbraked himself into turn 1, however, and Brewer went back through. Because of Simone's penalty, this was a straight fight for position since Brewer had also pitted for the prime. Simone got another shot on lap 36 as once again Brewer defended the inside line for turn 1. Simone took the apex at the corner, which seemingly caught Brewer off guard, but he managed to avoid contact with the Go Speed car, and Simone took P8. At the end of lap 39, both of the Twister cars came into the pits for their final scheduled stop, with both drivers fitting the super soft tires, Patel ahead of Breliak. End of lap 41, and Brzezinski made his final stop, also opting for the option tires and with nothing but free air ahead of him. With less than 10 laps remaining, Brzezinski got a call from the pit wall asking him to do a bit of fuel saving, but with a nice sized gap behind him, he made the most of the pole position and cruised to victory, earning his first career race win in the FSR World Championship Series. Initially, it was a double podium finish for Twister, with Patel leading Breliak by just a few tenths across the line, but after a disqualification for Breliak for not starting the race on the tires he used in qualifying, that promoted Bagazi to the final podium position, 13 seconds adrift of Brzezinski. Kostadinov finished the race one position higher than where he started, grabbing 12 points for his championship, while Disley scores double digits for Go Speed Engineering in 5th. Johnny Simone is left wondering what might have been if not for that penalty, but recovered to finish in 6th, less than a second behind Disley and less than 30 seconds behind Brzezinski. Simoncic finished in 7th after an interesting race, but over 10 seconds behind his teammate. Daniel Brewer gained 5 positions from his starting place to pick up a handful of points in 8th, while Gobi and Ivanov staked their claim on the final points positions thanks to Briliak and also Thomas Satherley, who crossed the line in P6 but was disqualified for the same reason as Briliak. Kiss, Kveekel, Conti, Vanderneet, Greco, Paresis, and De Alessandro all DNF'd out of the race for various reasons, bringing the number of classified finishers to a grand total of just 10 drivers. Thank you for joining us today for the highlights of the 9th round of the 2015 season. Make sure and tune in next time for the Belgian Grand Prix here at Formula Sim Racing, sponsored by Thrustmaster.